happening right now in the whites. Hikers are getting a brutal reality check, and that is they're going unprepared, having to be rescued due to hypothermia, and that happened in 2 different groups at the same time, and the same rescuers had to get to them, and rescuers were hurt in the process of getting them off the mountain. And then we've got reckless hikers that are in the Smokies that have caused a shutdown, undetermined amount of time in one of the shelters up there on in the Smokies. That's causing problems up there. Plus, we have the official 2026 Appalachian Trail Conservancy registration numbers in, and we're seeing that those numbers may not be a good metric of how to judge the actual hikers that are out there on the trail. All this, and we've got Thru-hikers that have got their updates from the trail and a whole lot more stuff and a whole lot more news for you. Let's go ahead and jump right in. From Vermont, we've got Sis, and she's got a new realization of Vermont. Take it away, Sis.
Hey, Ramdino, it's Sis with Hiking on a Prayer, and I'm checking in this week from a Trail Angels house here in Vermont. So, Vermont is hard. Okay. I discovered something called black flies. Yeah, they hurt. They look like just regular house flies, but they bite you, and it's very painful. Yeah, they're around the ponds, and if it's not raining, just be careful because they're gonna come out and they're gonna bite you. Also, it's muddy, and we got caught in a couple rainstorms, and one of my trail partners, they hurt their foot, and so we are holed up here and going to be here for a little bit until they are doing better. So we're going to be in Vermont for a little bit, but I thought I would give you a great little view of Killington behind me, and then over here behind me on the other side is Mount Pico. So hopefully not too long we'll be backed out on the trail, and we will be climbing those bad boys anyway. But right now we are here, and hopefully we'll be on the mend soon. But thank you so much for all that you do for the hiking community, and for all of you getting ready to head into Vermont. Just don't underestimate it, all right? Because there's a lot of rocks and roots, and like I said, black flies. All right, y'all take care, and God bless.
Zuko and Flatpick, they check in from the Eastern Continental Divide.
Hey, Ramdino, made it to the Eastern Continental Divide. I'm headed towards the Atlantic Ocean.
Hey, Ramdino, it's Flatpick, and I'm headed towards the Gulf of Mexico. Oh, wait a minute, let's switch. Hold on. Okay, now I'm headed towards the Atlantic Ocean.
And I've never been to the Gulf of Mexico. Yay! Bye!
See ya.
They have made it through the Triple Crown. They indicated that there was a lot of dry streams that typically would have water the section they're going through, and that is very indicative of what happens in that area, particularly through that portion, central portion of Virginia. It can be very, very dry through that area. So camel up whenever you get to streams. They did indicate that some trail angels had set out some water caches for them, and that has definitely helped them along the way. And then we got Mooseman and Songbird. They hit us up with their update with a huge milestone.
Hey Ramdino, this is Songbird. Hello out to everybody out there. We've enjoyed Pennsylvania so far, the little towns, and it's been nice meeting up with some hikers that we hiked with earlier. The trail's been great, but it's been awfully hot and humid. It's like a rainforest.
Hey Ramdino, Mooseman checking in. Some big milestones for us. We passed the halfway mark, got into Pine Grove Furnace, took on the half-gallon challenge. Mooseman took it down in 27 minutes, and naturally I had to have some Moose Tracks ice cream. But the treadway's been great through Maryland, Pennsylvania. Big shout out to all the trail maintainers. We met the innkeeper who takes care of the deer lick shelter, and he apologized he didn't have all the flower pots out there yet, but what a beautiful shelter. And a big shout out to all the farmers, Maryland and Pennsylvania, a heck of a job. They've mowed the treadway through the fields, especially through the Cumberland Valley Gap. And so we had no high grass to walk through, no ticks to worry about, and that's been awesome. So water is scarce across the Cumberland Valley. You got a 14.5-mile stretch coming out of Boiling Springs with no water. But other than that, it's been hot, but it's been great. And I guess we're in Peters Mountain now. We're getting into the Roxylvania coming up here now. So I guess we're getting ready to get our tails handed to us. So, but shout out to everybody. Thank you.
And also a shout out to the Ridge Runners. They've been very helpful.
Yeah, and we had dinner in Duncannon with Traveler and Sunflower. So it was good catching up with them again. We've hiked on and off with them. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And a little on further up on the trail.
Ramdino, Mooseman, and Songbird checking in real quick. We made it through Roxylvania and into Roxa, Jersey. We're just pushing north. Wanted to give you a quick update, and we'll touch base with you from New York.
The weather's been great, and the rocks have been hard on the ankles. See you out there.
So we hadn't heard from Thumbs Up, Mustard Seed, and Sweets in a while, and they checked back in.
Hey Ramdino, it's Thumbs Up, Mustard Seed, and Sweets back there, coming to you from the White Mountains, NOBO 2026. We are just about 3 weeks away from Katahdin, and thought we'd give you a little update here that we survived Mount Washington 2 days ago with 100-mile-an-hour winds as we went across the presidential ridge there between Washington and Madison, and it was wild. We weren't able to get a lot of footage of it. We did get a little footage though of Mount Washington, and here it is.
Wow, that was some wind they had up at Mount Washington. You never know what's going to happen above tree line, much less up at Mount Washington. And they indicated they were 3 weeks away, but that was a delayed broadcast from them, delayed update, and now they're actually only about 2 weeks from Mama Kay. Spotter sends us her update, and she's got a video she sent in of a stream crossing there.
All right, guys, this is where the AT crosses the river, which I am not going to be doing this. I'm going to actually go back the other way. He said to go where the trail looks like it's blocked off to let you know it's not the AT. He said go over that way. Because, yeah, there's no way I'm crossing here. Woohoo! Actually, can you see, hold on, that board right there? Yeah, that's usually what you cross across.
This is not something you're supposed to be crossing, and she sends that in for us to take a look at what it looks like in Maine after they get a bunch of water. Thankfully, she didn't try to cross there, but she did get across, and we know she got across because Prepper hikes and his family ran into her on the trail as they were crossing each other. So that was pretty cool to see that. By the way, that crossing, she said, was at mile 197, but Prepper and his family, they check in.
Hello, Ramdino! We have walked from Georgia to Maine, and we just now hit the Maine border. We go through the Mahoosic Notch tomorrow. Who have we got over there?
Scat Pack.
Scat Pack was an early starter.
I just walked home.
He walked home. He's from Maine.
Lost and found.
Class of 2021, baby.
And Pac-Man.
So we got most of the tramley back together. We pick up Waterboy on Friday. Trail conditions are very wet, very steep, and we've went through some crazy stuff. We go through the Mahoosic Notch tomorrow, but if you're right behind us, there's a lot of water, a lot more than what the water sources say. Trail conditions are pretty good. They're just a little crazy steep, but anyway, here we go. We're going through the Mahoosic Notch tomorrow. Appalachian Trail 2.0, baby. Let's go.
The Prepper said that was nothing but a jungle gym for adults. Nothing like seeing grown men get lost in rocks and trying to figure out their way through it.
I don't know how you get there to slow.
You'd have to lose your pack.
All right. I mean, this also doesn't look great, but
You've been down there. I think the other spot is the.
you might want to go that way, and I'll go down and you can pass your pack.
Yeah, that's the actual trail over there. I
Stay
think.
safe, because these rocks are slick.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, Prepper and Tramley, for sending that in. And we got Ash and Tie-Dye Goat. They are also in the whites. They sent in their update.
Hey, Ramdino, it's Ash.
Tie-dye goat.
It is Saturday, June the 27th.
Yay, we know the date. We've just taken a couple zeros because our bodies took a beating through the whites. Weather has sucked. A lot of rainstorms that caused us to get off trail with wet gear. add some extra bonus miles. Trail conditions, water's good. Water's plenty of water.
Plenty of water.
Plenty of rocks.
Yeah.
There were some blowdowns in the tree line coming off of Mount Madison down towards Osgood. But besides that, it's just wet and rocky and steep and fun, and just the bodies are going to take a beating. We're getting back on today, headed over Carter's, and then out of the Whites by tomorrow. Yay! Anyway, we'll touch base next week. Hopefully next week we'll cross that 1,900 mile mark. See you next week.
So they report there's no issues with water crossings from where they're at right now, with the exception of one that was at mile 1,799, and that's Nobo mile. So Spotter was at Sobo mile 197, but theirs is at Nobo mile 1,799, and that's at the Oliverian brick that they said was waist deep. So checklist, his update indicates that he is off trail now. He had some family issues he had to get back for, and so he is going to try to get back after that gets straightened out. Going to try to get back on trail, do a flip-flop, make it up to Katahdin before it closes so that he can finish in the calendar year to be a true thru-hiker as far as the ATC is concerned. A lot of people don't care about that, and a lot of people do, and that's okay either way. But he's going to try to do that just for that thru-hiker moniker. It doesn't matter, though, when he finishes the trail. That's going to be awesome. He did get off at the Eckville shelter there in Pennsylvania and reminds us that that shelter and the 501 shelter are being demolished. So I think they're still open this year, but next year they're going to be gone. So the National Park Service owns those. It's not owned by the ATC, and so they will be removing those shelters. The only thing I can think of is they just don't want to be in the, and actually I believe the house is going to be torn down as well, and they just don't want to be in the real estate and shelter business. So they are going to bring those down. And Bear Scat, he got off. He said that his hernia, maybe that's TMI, was acting up on him, and it was due to he was carrying too much weight. He didn't tell us what that weight was. Carrying too much weight. He's going to come back next year and going to be having a whole lot lighter pack load, a whole lot lighter kit for him. And hopefully he'll be able to complete his thru-hike when he starts all over again next year. Viewer R. Lawrence, he sends in that the Mount LeConte shelter, which is about 5.5 miles off the Appalachian Trail, it's not actually part of the Appalachian Trail shelter system, but it is in the Smokies, and that shelter has had to be closed because hikers have left, and I'll use that term loosely, they've left gear there, they've left trash everywhere, which is just an invitation for a bear to show up and associate that shelter with food. And then the next thing you know, he's going to be coming back to that on a regular basis, and he'll have to be taken away, moved off site. They always wind up coming back, or if he attacks somebody, or if he continues to come back, he'll have to be euthanized. So stupid. I don't know why people do stupid stuff like that, but I guess that's why I use the term hiker loosely, because most people that hike are not going to leave the shelter totally trashed, so bad that it has to be shut down. The Appalachian Trail Conservancy numbers are in for 2026 registrations down at Amicalola State Park, and the numbers show that the numbers are down. So they got a total of 2,049 people who registered in 2026 down at Amicalola Falls State Park. 2025, they had 2,279, so that's down somewhere around 10%. 2024, they had 2,252 people. So it was actually up, according to the ATC, in 2025 versus 2024, which is totally contrary to what I have been experienced with other thru-hikers, the numbers I've kept up with, as well as what hostel and shuttle owners tell me from last year. They feel like it was down 15 to 25% last year. So rather than being up, they felt like 2025 was down from 2024. And in 2026, they're saying it's down too. Of course, the ATC is showing that as well. So 95.4% of those this year were U.S. hikers, with the most coming from Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. I don't know why Texas. Texas is kind of an outlier out there. The other states, Georgia, well, Florida's close enough, but Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, they're all on the trail, all real close to the southern terminus where people start. So I don't know why Texas is such an outlier there, but they are. And of that, we're seeing that about 4.6% were international hikers. So that's about 94 international hikers. Most of those come from Germany, Britain, and Canada. And so those numbers also show being drastically down, though. 2024, 8% were international hikers. In 2025, we had 6.5% were international hikers. And this year, we're at 4.6%. So that's almost half what it was 2 years ago. And the reason I'm only giving you 2024 is because that's all the ATC has posted. They first started doing digital and back in 2024. Before that, they did everything on paper. And so they haven't gone back and added those to their system. And so I guess because it would take a lot of manual work to do that. And so they don't have numbers for that. I have numbers for that. Won't go into that here. That's a rabbit trail we won't go down in this video. But international numbers are down. And that is probably due to geopolitics. We're not going to talk about politics on this channel, so don't even. I just brought it up because that's the only thing that I can think of why they're down. So don't leave any comments about that. This is not a political channel, but the dollar is actually down on the euro this year. So the euro buys more, so you would figure you wouldn't be down. So that's the only thing that I can determine. Of course, a lot of people are just not wanting to travel as much either because of everything that's going on. But let's not chase that rabbit. Let's move on. And they were also taking pack weights down there. And so the average pack weight was around 30.5 pounds. I don't like to have the average. I'd rather have the median because the median is right smack in the middle. It tells you what, it takes the outliers away. So those that are hiking with 10 pounds, which is not what most people are doing, it takes that out. Those that are hiking with 40 pounds, which is not what most people are doing, it takes that out. So I'd rather see the median. Unfortunately, we don't have that information. But you'll recall from my earlier videos where from Spineless Cougar, he was giving us pack weights. I kind of gave you a good indication of what the medium pack weights were then. So a couple reasons why we really can't trust the metrics that we're getting with those registration numbers for ATC. And I'm not trying to throw shade on the ATC for that, but those numbers just don't add up. And so part of that is because my experience and my sources' experiences have not been that we were up from 2024. It's been that we were down 15 to 25% from 2020 from 2024. In 2025, we were down. Another thing is that anywhere from 10 to 25% of the hikers do not register their hike, and that was probably on the higher end last year because people were ticked off at the ATC because of the way they handled Helene. And that's not my words. That's words coming at me from trail providers out there. So Helene was a hopefully once-in-a-lifetime event. There was no contingency plans by the ATC or anybody else to deal with it. So not throwing shade on the ATC. Nobody ever expected the damage that we got up there and has ever experienced that, and hopefully will experience it since then. So because of that, they were scrambling to try to get information out. A lot of times information was wrong. A lot of times it was late. I resorted to contacting trail clubs myself. I put together a pretty involved spreadsheet that said what was open, what was closed, what was passable, what was not passable. Eventually, the ATC caught up to that, and then they actually started copying exactly what I had put together. And that's okay. That's flattery, right? People flatter you when they try to copy you. But, and again, not throwing shade on them. It's just, nobody had ever come up with that contingency. So, and there are people right now still recovering in Tennessee and North Carolina. Hopefully that will never happen again. But that's one of the reasons why a lot of people probably did not register their hike in 2024 and 25. And by the time the ATC caught up, well, the psychological damage was already done. People had already actually registered their hike. And so they knew what they were going to be doing there. And then speaking of things that are closed, right now, Max Patch is closed to overnight camping, and they've extended that closure through 2029. So they shut it down in 2021 because some people who are stuck on stupid went up there and totally, I mean, when I say people, I mean hundreds of people went up there and created a big, huge mess. It looked like Woodstock. Didn't practice leave no trace. They left all their trash up there, or not all of it, most of it. They left gear up there. They left their fecal matter up there. And so it was just a big mess. The National Park Service had had enough of cleaning up after people. And so they said, okay, under the auspices of we're going to go back and fix all the damage, we're shutting it down for a couple years. So they shut it down through, I think, 2024. Then in 2024, they extended it to 2026. And in 2026, now they've extended it through 2029. So who knows if you'll ever be able to camp again up there on Max Patch. You can walk up there and day hike on it and use it. But you can't have like barbecues or hike or none of that stuff up there. So thanks a lot to those folks that loosely call hikers. They're really not hikers. They just camped up there. They were stuck on stupid and made it a mess for everybody. Then the rescues we've had up in the Whites, we've had hikers that have been rescued from Mount Lafayette. There was actually two groups of them that had to be rescued at the same time. And they were stuck on stupid, and they went into the Whites without having the proper provisions, without being dressed properly. And so they did get in touch with authorities and said that they had a thunderstorm that came through. We're wet, we're cold, because they were at elevation. We're wet, we're cold, we got no food, we got no light, no way to build a fire, and we're in trouble. And we're also hypothermic. And so they sent part of the AMC crew from Greenleaf Shelter to help them out. They got to them in time. They got them shelter. They got them warm clothing, got them warmed up, but one of them was in such bad shape that they had to call search and rescue from the Pemigewasset region, get them up there to get them evacuated off the mountain. And in the middle of all that, another group called in, and they had to do the same thing with them. And during the process of getting them back to the huts to get them warmed up, one of the search and rescue personnel was severely injured, and they had to help him get off the mountain. And so this is what I mean by don't be stupid and go out there unprepared and do dumb stuff to where you have to be called in to be rescued. Because if you do, you're putting the rescuer's life, you're putting them in danger as well. And in this case, that came to fruition. So don't be stuck on stupid. Go in. If you're up there somewhere, you need to take, and just remember that storms are going to move in. And you never know when they're going to move in. You need to be watching the weather, but they can still pop up and it not be predicted. So authorities up there, they want you to take as a minimum amount of stuff to help you through those conditions. They want you to take a map, a compass, warm clothing, extra food and water, headlamp, fire starter, first aid kit, whistle, rain and wind jackets and pants, and a knife. Now, two things. I don't know what you're going to do with a knife. I guess maybe cut up some kindling or something. And if you don't know how to use a compass, that is worthless. So take the compass, but learn how to use the compass. You've got to know how to use that. Your GPS is going to go out. Your phone batteries are going to die. You may lose it. You may break it, but probably not going to break that compass. So take a compass. Take you some orienteering courses. It's not that hard. Go online, figure it out, develop a rudimentary sense of direction, and take that with you to help you get out, particularly when it's dark. And take a headlight. It's so simple. They don't hardly weigh anything. Take a headlamp. Be prepared. Don't go up there unprepared. I got Camino videos that are still coming up about halfway through. I hope y'all are enjoying those. I know a lot of you are. I've gotten good comments, but leave a comment on this video. If you got anything out, it give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. And as always, appreciate you. And we hope to see you out here.